Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Crusader Cody, and we're keeping it geekly with our new friend, John Luzar. We're here to break down General Washington and the Liberty Tree, Issue 1. Forcer of freedom, fairness, and the American dream. John, welcome to the stream. How are you doing tonight, man?
Doing good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I had a chance to read this book. I loved it. It was insane. I was not expecting a hero of this magnitude, the abilities. One thing I really loved was the meta commentary. I thought the commentary itself was such awesome part of this book. I'm excited to dive into it. But before we do that, we need to dive into the creator behind it all, John. Give us a little bit of who you are and how you got into creating comics.
Okay. So my name is John Luzar. I am a political blogger, do a little humor blog. And I used to be an actor here in Chicago, Illinois. It didn't turn out as you may not recognize me from anything. So I was looking for a different way to be creative. It was something, I've been reading comics my whole life, as you can see behind me. I started looking for classes, and I don't know if you ever see at the conventions, Comics Experience.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Schmidt, they offer some courses. They're really great. Just got the basics and, started crowdfunding, which is, just a wonderful resource to have out there. You can be just any schmuck on the street and put your stuff out there and see who nibbles at your bait.
So what came first for you? Was it the comic writing or the political side?
The political side, actually. No, I just I had a random post go a little viral, had some fun with it, found an audience, and it was the plan from the beginning. They say, when you've got a small site, you don't want to bog it down with ads, and you're not going to make much money anyway. I'm sure you know. So the idea is to monetize it by eventually having a product. And I've always wanted to write comics, and I just thought, man, I'll do this blog and sell comics to my audience. And it's been about 7 or 8 years of grinding that out, but beats working.
Monetizing podcasts. I mean, you guys get paid for this? So I think that's really cool though to kind of have something that you're just doing for fun, like pop off, and then hey, I need to chase this. This has something behind it. Kind of like the idea with keeping it geekly. I was a Twitch streamer for a hot second. Played all the new games that dropped. Really loved comic books, video games. I mean that's the life for anyone, I guess, in their mid 30s. And one thing led to another. I ended up interviewing someone. He's like, "You're good at this." I was like, "You know what? Maybe I'm good at this. I should just do this." And that's how these things pop off. And it's your love and passion that really carries you throughout your endeavors. And I think it's awesome how you're right. With the monetization, merch is a big thing, and leading to comics. Do your comics serve as an additional platform of your political chats? Do you kind of have a lot of political meaning in your books, or are they kind of different genres?
There definitely has been the intent to keep that political audience in mind when I'm creating books. My my blog audience is largely it's like angry liberal women of retirement age. So I'm selling them the only comic books they've ever read in their lives, and they're very sweet about it. And they send me birthday cards with checks. Like I've got.
Oh, I love that so much.
Oh, it's so great. I've got 500 grandmas. But yeah, and it's just nice because I've got this audience I've been cultivating for a long time to provide the base for while I'm reaching out and meeting people in the comics world and finding that audience. So I've been very fortunate there.
So do you feel like knowing the demographic that's going to be reading this book, does that change any sort of way you go about creating the scripts? General Washington, for instance, he's a pretty brutal guy. He opens a can of whip ass. I mean, did knowing that your demographic might be a little bit older, might not like a lot of the violence, that shape any way of the way the story played out?
Well, maybe they like the violence considering who's on the receiving end.
True. Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, it is interesting because, like, and of course, as somebody trying to break in, like the other audience I'm making it for is people who might hire me. And so, like this project, yeah, I've been making one shots, and this is my first longer book, as a learning the craft slow but steady. So the goal at the start of it is, I'm trying to make a superhero book for not really the first time, but the second time. And I'm trying to tell a longer story for the first time. And I'm trying to have something that I can pitch towards my blog audience.
So tell me a little bit, before we dive into General Washington and the Liberty Tree, what were your other books like? What type of genres? I guess what was your very first book?
Oh man, my first book was called The Worth and the Cost. Do I have, I don't know if I have any pub there anymore. And that, it was like that on that one. It is a little science fiction book about, you know, political activism. Just sort of, again, at this point, I'm pitching directly to the, the old ladies with the checks, and just trying to learn. And the first couple of books I made they're not awesome. Visual storytelling didn't come super naturally to me. I come from theater, right? Where my first instinct, even to this day, is like, oh, we'll just write 12 pages of dialogue and that'll be great. But that's not how comic books work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, after getting that note a few times, I did this book, Marguerite versus the Occupation, which you can get on the current Kickstarter as a reward. And this was me learning visual storytelling as a sort of like, you got to do it or else kind of thing. It's just one long action scene, more or less. It's a nice little World War II story of the French Resistance, always one of my favorite genres. So just plugging along, learning the craft, issue by issue, the hard way, right?
So how much of your theater experience plays a role in your script writing? I mean, there's a lot of framing and panels. There's a lot of guiding the reader across the pages, which I would feel is similar to getting directed across the stage as an actor. How do you feel like any of your theater experience played a part in your writing?
Yeah. I mean, definitely, mostly in terms of creating the characters and having that actor's mindset is really, I've been working on a future General Washington script tonight, actually. Just the ability to get into a character's head the way you need a character in dramatic conflict to be, finding those conflict points based on, the magic happens when what character A wants and what character B wants are not compatible, right?
Yeah.
So that sort of mentality is where the theater experience comes in most handy, I think.
So, I mean, General Washington, I feel like everyone, that's the president you first learned, right? Why did you end up choosing him as the focal point for this book?
Well, I needed a Captain America like figure, sort of like the way Supreme is Superman. And after digging around in American history a little bit, you know what it was actually, and there's a moment coming up in the coming issue, where it'll be a focal point, like the notion of and you can see it in Jason Muir's design, the notion of like a powdered wig as a superhero helmet. Like one of the great details is that little powdered wig tail. It just gives it that sort of revolutionary theme that helps it stand out from the characters we're referencing. So that visual is, that's sort of why I chose it.
I mean, and he is a very strong symbol of America, right? Like he was the badass that we learned about, crossing the Delaware River, all that. And he's just as much of a badass in this book. I love we start off with him beating down, a white supremacist, a piece of shit Nazi. Um, I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing those people get their faces smashed in. There's a lot of that going on in this. But I also love how you see the media portrays it and the different way people view it and their perception. And I really love the commentary that you dive into this. And it feels like it's almost a direct representation of what we kind of see happening nowadays. How long ago did you start this script?
About 3 years ago, it actually, there was a time, and it took me so long. There was a time when I thought it would be a little less relevant, and then it became accidentally more
Yeah,
relevant.
yeah, and it's like, this is bad, guys.
It is. It's just like, but hopefully, but good for the story. So not really worth it, but worth it for me. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, the core pitch is, if anybody tried to be Captain America in the world really outside our window, half the country would hate you, right?
Yeah,
Um, I was talking to somebody the other day, like, are you a Star Trek guy at all?
I've watched my fair share. Yeah,
Yeah, there's I mean, it's not my core fandom, but like I was watching the new show Strange New Worlds, right? And there's a big nuclear civil war in the past of that world, right? And they describe it in the new show as like competing concepts of freedom, you know? Because we don't see it, we all have our opinions, but we don't see our nobody sees themselves as the bad guy. We're
oh,
seeing
the
ourselves.
victors write the history, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So and I love, I love superhero comics for that sort of that symbolic clarity. There's the
Yeah.
good guy and the bad guy, and you understand right away. But I also like, I love stuff like Irredeemable and Watchmen and Rising Stars and Astro City, the places that just take it a level or two deeper and think, like, what if there were real people doing this with all our complexities and such. So that's the goal.
It's crazy too. Um, the more you become opened, and I guess the more you kind of break away from the chains of like ignorance, right? Like you kind of open your mind and realize what everything is. That's when life really starts to suck, right? You grow up as a kid, you're like, yeah, the government's here to protect me. And then you're like 36 years old and you're like, man, the government's here to fuck me. Like,
Oh, it just seemed like everybody had their shit figured out,
yeah.
and like, oh, adulthood is like, you'll just slide in that system, and you'll have this great life surrounded by people with the best of intentions and perfect skills to accomplish everything they're supposed to. But no, no, that is not how life
And
is.
it's like, I don't know. At this point, it's like entertainment, right? I feel like we're in the Rome days. Like we have crazy stuff like with Bubbles and good old Trump. I don't. Yeah, that's a crazy story in itself for anyone listening and watching. I'm sure you guys are all aware of that. CIA talking about what astral projection just a few years ago, releasing stuff about that. Like what is life anymore? We got alien confirmation. That did that asteroid with the alien life hit us yet? I mean, that was in the news and then disappeared all of a sudden.
And can they take me with them,
Yeah, okay, beat me up, Scotty, please.
please?
So General Washington, one thing, very striking too, badass, but he has a special ability too. I thought was really unique. We see this like unique like substance coming from his arm, and we end up finding that's a sapling from the Liberty Tree itself. Like that is such a cool concept. Where did inspiration for that come from?
Oh man, it's interesting because like the powers for all the characters came pretty late. Like,
Mhm.
I'm trying to put the world together and the story together, and and that's a headache enough. And then I'm like, oh yeah, it's superheroes. Like they're supposed to have powers. Um, and like that's why people buy the comic books, John. Um, so I needed something like, and again looking to looking to scratch that Captain America itch, something like the super soldier serum, right? I love the way that is integrated into the Captain America story,
Mhm.
in that, like, you've got this great amazing thing, but the guy who created it dies, so there's only one guy who has it. One of the plot points in the issue is that, again, there's this alien symbiont, and when the original golden age, if you will, General Washington dies, the symbiont becomes inert and it won't pair with a new host. So it took me a while to find that solution. um I landed on the idea of a symbiont because at one point, and it's evolved so much, I can't even remember how it worked, but like I saw the story as a sort of a spiritual successor to Maximum Carnage. You know that
Yeah.
one? Yeah, 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 yeah. And I love that story. Like when I read it when it was on the newsstands and I'm in like eighth grade, it was this awesome Venom Carnage Spider-Man story. And when I reread it as an adult, like it's like, oh, there's actually like themes about, generations and what's an acceptable level of violence and what being a hero means. So that was a nice little tribute to that. And then yeah, man, like all of the goal has always been to find those sweet spots. Superheroes make such great symbols, right? I love I love the way, and like, when people take them super seriously, like in a Watchmen, the way the visual can just trigger such a specific meaning in you. So like the sweet spot has always that I've been seeking has always been those American history moments, right? And I'm I have my old I've been flipping through like my old college English textbooks, reading old poems about America and by the founding fathers. And boy, one day in the searching, just came across the Liberty Tree, and like, bam, like, and it's and it made the symbiont immediately more specific, in that, like, rather than being alien goo, it's more plant like.
Mhm.
And you see what Jason Muir has done with that over and over again in the book. It gives it texture, and it gives it a specific visual quality that I don't think people have seen a lot anywhere else.
No,
So
Jason is a phenomenal artist. I loved his attention to details. We were talking backstage a little bit, but now that we are live, I mean, dude, some of these villains, I loved in particular Baron Blizzard. Another one was Ember, and you could just tell he was a piece of shit. Like he barely just had like a snippet of a Confederate flag if you looked, and it's like it pays the eagle eye, reader in so many different ways to when they read this book, because here or there's little snippets of gold, and I think you guys really killed it with that.
yeah, I one of the earliest ideas I had was to give these white supremacist villains a Groiper aesthetic,
Mhm.
like you see with Pepe the Frog and stuff online.
Yeah.
There's a If you want to check out the Kickstarter, like one of our teaser images is of Ember when we meet him in the comic, and again, it's Jason. On top of being such a brilliant artist, he's such a good designer. That's why we wanted to partner with him on this book. If you've seen By the Horns at
Yep.
Scout, just off the charts. Everything is so beautiful, and I wish he's got like non-human designs in there too. I wish I could use that in my book. But the way he took that single like Groiper aesthetic note and combined that with Ember with his fire powers, and he got that trademark logo, and it's just I find that that Pepe grin so disturbing,
Hmm.
and to see it, just as the supervillain logo, it just it works for me.
You know what sucks too is the creator of Pepe
Right.
Frog or whatever. That dude, I feel bad for him, right? Because he did not intend for any of that to happen, and like pieces of shit just took that and ran with it. I remember seeing him like begging people to stop using it, but it encouraged them to use it even more. And I think it's just a really good example of how like he didn't even intend for that, and like just pieces of shit took it and ran with it, like
Yeah.
almost like the scum that take the Punisher logo and like
Mhm.
misuse it, and they're like, yeah, we're badass. It's like the Punisher would shoot you guys, like you guys would be his targets. Like, what are you doing?
I have a subplot coming up in the coming issues that touches on that very issue.
I love it.
Because it's a story about symbols, but hopefully also about the people walking around wearing them.
So speaking of symbols, the Liberty Tree. I mean, this dude is badass. What's this? What is he able to construct with this ability? Like, can you give us, I guess, a basic breakdown of the abilities of this hero?
It's like the the symbiont is it's like Venom or Carnage in that it can change shape and density, um, but there's not enough of it for like a full bodysuit like the way Venom or Carnage use it.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can scroll down. I think there's some images of it here.
Oh, we're gonna check this whole thing out. I was just pulling it up while you talked to kind of give them
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
visual.
I love that cover Jason came up with. So yeah, like that's the idea. Change the shape, density. Um, the older original Golden Age General Washington does cool. You see him in action here. He can do all kinds of cool stuff with it because he's a professional and he's been doing this for years. And then we've got the new guy, who, bless his heart, he's a little bit, more of an everyman. So he's he's just not that good. Sort of like if you could bite me with a radioactive spider and I wouldn't be Spider-Man because I got two left feet. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's got the powers, but he doesn't have the skill, and therein lies the problem.
And I
Uh,
I love how, I mean, you nailed the design. I feel for the white supremacist, like the classic, telltale signs of someone who's been involved in that. I mean, you probably didn't even need no research for that at all. Like these guys are just proud to show themselves out in public at this point, I feel.
yeah, there was some research. One of the things that we want, I don't know if you've read any of the old like, uh, some of the '70s Marvel anti-racist comics, like the Sons
Mhm.
of the Serpent and stuff. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I think I used to actually have a book. What was it? I think it was like Superman against Adolf Hitler. I forgot what it was. An old school one though, dude. This was old.
Yeah, and I love that stuff because I love politically conscious
Hmm.
superhero stories. But like the costumes are a little silly. Um, and like we saw them a little earlier up at the top. The idea I wanted to go with is that like yeah, once upon a time they were silly. Like you can see a little bit of it here. Like we've got our Colonel Sanders looking villain
Yeah.
there. The idea that like used to be sort of silly guys in big garish costumes doing crazy stupid stuff, but now in the more modern times it's a little more real and it's a little more dangerous and hopefully a little more frightening. That contrast between superheroes and supervillains and a guy like this with just tattoos and a wife beater, right?
I love the costumes. I'm a sucker for jackets. I don't know what it is, but I freaking love a jacket on a superhero. But even the design of the new superhero. I'm curious though. What made you choose the shield with the three stars and stripes? Is that like a legit like older symbol for George
that
Washington?
that is the Washington family crest.
Ooh, okay. I love that. And it fits so perfect on a costume.
So it's so good because like um it is so tricky to create new characters in
Yeah.
2025 because all the good stuff has been taken. Like most of the good stuff has been taken for 50 years.
Hmm.
And again, like can't talk enough about Jason's work because he's creating, a golden age version. He's creating a modern age version. We've got another version still to come that we'll see in issue 2. um so like he's doing multiple versions of all these characters, but at the same time like is able to create something that you haven't seen before, but it looks like, oh yeah, this I would have picked this up off a spinner rack in 1982, right? It's hard to do, and he's great at it.
I really love to on the ribs have the
Mhm,
American flag stripes. I think
mhm.
that complements it so perfectly. And one thing I really noticed about Jason's work in this was just his his paneling. Like right here during the action scenes, we see the whole background just one solid orange red color. Really emphasize that. Then we zoom back to the public. Him missing this swing and then getting countered right here. He does a really good job. Focusing on these important moments.
Yeah, he's really incredible, and he's been more than patient with me throughout the process, which I
So
which I appreciate.
what does the collaborative process look like between you two? Do you have a general idea of how you want these panels to lay out, or do you kind of let him take the wheel with some of the designs?
I've let him take the wheel. The again, because the visual storytelling aspect, it still doesn't come very naturally to me.
Hmm.
When I write a panel description, I need to be able to see something so that I know it's drawable, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
and then turn him loose and just see what he comes up with. And there have been a few times, like actually on that splash page, that's page 1 um of our story. Like what I wrote was a standoff, right? Like they're just circling each other and about to go at it. And Jason was like, no, I think this is a little stronger, and I think he's right.
Yeah.
It's a lot more dynamic than just two dudes circling each other, and it also, it fills that vertical space more, and that's the kind of thing that like I don't have instincts there yet. I'm learning every day, but that's why it's so wonderful to have such an experienced partner on stuff like this.
And that's why it's always important to continuously be learning and pushing yourself too, right? When I started interviewing, I had no idea about any of this. I was just your average comic book reader. I would read a book and I'm like, okay, this is cool. Let's talk about it. But I've taken it upon myself to buy a lot of literature, like diving into the analytical side of comics. Creating comics, what goes into comics, and learning. I guess the process, watching the process unfold, like helps you become better at creating them. Right? Like, seeing how Jason took your idea and shaped it into his own. I'm sure for your next book, you're like, okay, well, I have some ideas for some really cool, scenes here, or perspectives or paneling. Um, yeah, phenomenal work. And right here too, I love these beats so much. Fairness, freedom, fairness, and the American dream. It was like so perfect. I was like, I need to start the podcast off with this. This is like awesome. Like I'm such a sucker for like when beats just like hit the mark right on the dot.
Oh, thank you. And like just you want to evoke the thing, truth, justice, in the American way, but without saying it. Yeah. Just finding just the right words that haven't quite been taken yet. It's tricky.
So I mean, we started the issue off pretty hot. He's fighting a bad guy. Things are getting crazy. We had to look at a potential, rogue gallery, maybe some other enemies. Uh, what are we gonna see in the next couple issues? Are we gonna see some sort of like Marvel Avengers of the Forefathers? Please tell me we're gonna have something of that magnitude coming, because I would love to see something like that.
Well, yeah, we're gonna come up on. Let me see how do I tease this without giving it away. We're gonna see another potential candidate. Somebody else comes along who the symbiont will pair with. So we've got two different General Washington candidates, and you've got an administration that is not unlike the one we're dealing with right now.
Hmm.
And you're going to see members of that administration try to co-opt this symbol, which again, like imagine like a Captain America like figure who's been around for 70, 80 years, and what they would use it for, right? And what it would be like to be the guy, again, a little out of his depth, not real good at the job, but being thrust into situations and being used to do things he might not be comfortable with. But
Hmm.
what do you do? What do you do when the president of the United States gives you a direct order, sort of thing, right?
Yeah,
And,
man. I love
and
this piece by Kelly too.
oh yeah, yeah. It's yeah, Kelly's a horror guy, and I like the intersection. Actually, I saw you were talking to Alex Cormack a little while ago,
Yep,
right?
yep. Hmm.
Who's just Alex did an alternate cover for me on one of my other one shots,
What a
and
small world. I love how that like everything intertwines, right? Like everybody knows everybody almost.
working on it, working
Yeah.
on it. I'm lucky. I know like 12 people right now, but I know Alex, and I'm lucky because he's incredible. But no, I like I'm learning to love that place where like a horror aesthetic and superheroes intersect.
Hmm.
It's very cool. Just gives it that extra bloody brutality. And of course it's very popular with the old liberal ladies.
Yeah, no, I love this too. The ground gets smashed up with that. And that's a thing with superheroes, right? Like you always think of them so happy, so bright. A horror superhero is like the total different like spectrum of it, and I think that's why it hits so good because you're
Hmm.
not expecting it, and it always just perfect. Um, some awesome praise here. We had Joe Glass on the show before too. I love how interconnected everything feels with this, John. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love seeing all these familiar names on these projects. The letterer too. I think I know Kelly. I know the letterer. I'm friends with half these people on Facebook. Like, dude,
Nice.
this is awesome. Who is the creative team involved in this book? Let's give them a little bit of a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. I could talk about, and I have been talking about how great Jason Muir is. Again, uh, anybody listening, if you want the prettiest book of all time, buy the horns at Scout. It's insane. He just did a Marvel Zombies thing too. Um, Colorist who was recommended by somebody I know. His name is Arthur Hesley. He's in Brazil. Really nailed that, like you were talking about earlier with those reds. Like By the Horns is this super, that's that Alex Cormack cover actually. So pretty. Lucky guy.
And we know Lane Lloyd too. He's done an awesome commission for keeping the geek. All you have phenomenal artists and creators working on all your projects. I love it, man.
Yeah, the whole that this book, which Odd Yarns, like I was on Twitter and saw Lane looking for, he's like, I've got an opening in my schedule. And one of the things we'll do in theater sometimes is like a 24-hour play fest where you just put something together as quickly as you can. And I just said, like, what if I just come up with an idea and hire Lane Lloyd and do this book? That's that is the other alternate cover. It's kind of a Marvel Comics Presents style flip
Hold on
book.
1 second. Yep.
So we do this and we do this
Oh,
double
that's
feature, sort
cool.
of a yeah, and this is the Alex Cormack, and this is Jason.
That's cool. Is that
Uh,
where you met Jason? Was doing okay, cool.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
how that works out too. You hire him for a cover and it's like, do a whole book for me, why don't you?
yeah, absolutely. And why wouldn't you? Like it's he just rattled this off in a day. It's like, that's so pretty. Thank you so much.
Yeah, oh my god, a day? That would take me probably like 6 months and I would feel like it's not good enough and end up throwing it away.
Oh, I can't draw for shit.
Yeah, I
So
can't draw. So let's check out some of these rewards. Of course, guys, everyone that is watching, right here is a link for you in the chat. Be sure to check it out if you're able to back. We would love to see that, but simply putting this on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you can. Word of mouth is 100% free. It costs you absolutely nothing. For the fight of freedom, right? You are fighting for freedom by backing. So show how much of a patriot you are with your support today.
hey
You
man,
can get it. He's like, I might take that. We got digital copies coming hot off the press at $5. A digital 3-pack for 10. What's going to be included in this 3-pack?
Well, the books we were just looking at, Marguerite and Odd Yarns, along with General Washington. Just keeping it, I have, big dreams someday, action figures, video games, merch, all of it. For right now, I remember all the advice I got when I used to sit on Kickstarter panels at the comic conventions, right? Just keep it simple, because if you add anything too fancy, you got to pay more to ship it. So we're just doing comic books so far.
And you can get that cover by Kelly Williams for the awesome price of $25. And this is a gorgeous piece in itself. We have the Resistance comic 3-pack hot off the press at $30. So not only a physical copy of General Washington and the Liberty Tree issue 1, but the other 2 as well, plus digital copies of all the titles. And then you can get the alternate cover 3-pack for $65. So awesome prices on those. John, for anyone who might be on the fence about backing, what would you like to say to them to help push them over that hump?
It's I think the target reader here is somebody who likes that character driven, a little more adult, again, like Rising Stars, Irredeemable, Astro City style book. Because we've all seen superheroes fight bank robbers for our entire lives, and I just think in real life things would be a little more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So if you want something a little more a little deeper, I guess is the word. Like that's what we've got, and I promise you, 22 pages of what Jason, Arthur, and Micah are doing, it's worth paying for. They've done such beautiful work.
And I mean, dude, but I want to say all of them, if not most of them, have been involved on like huge projects too. So like a hell of a crew for this book, for real. So John, I know this is your first time on the show. We always love asking for a piece of advice and then what you're up to outside of creating to wrap things up. So for the creator out there looking to, create something that's going to net their target audience, but also pull in, some new people to check out their book, what would be your biggest piece of advice as a creator doing that themselves?
Oh man, I think I need to receive that advice more than I do. No, it's just like it's one reader at a time, man. Because like I don't even know where all the readers come from. I have one reader in the Netherlands, and he's bought every Kickstarter I've ever made, and I don't know where I found him, but you just gotta, like you're talking about with the podcast, you grind it out all the time. You keep making a product people want to come back for, and hope for the best, man.
That is awesome. And before we wrap things up, let's give a shout out to your podcast, and what you do over at the Shower Cap. It's called the Shower Cap?
Showercapblog.com. It's a blog, not a podcast.
Sorry.
Couldn't talk that much. No, it's just I don't know if you're familiar with Heather Cox Richardson, who you might see circulating in left wing spaces with the the big long news roundup sort of thing. Just like, because it's so many different things happen, and I just do that with fart jokes. Just
There's a whole lot of farting, man.
Oh man, and so many people deserve to be on the receiving end of them. No, it's just the idea is, there's a lot of really heavy shit going on, and it goes down a little easier with a spoonful of sugar or sarcasm, as the case may be. The comment I get more than anything over there, and I've been doing it for about 8 years, is just that it helps to laugh at it sometimes. So that's what we do. That's the goal. Get people to chuckle through the awfulness.
You're probably staying busy. I mean, that keyboard is probably not getting a break anytime soon, right?
I have never once wanted for material. Nah, once. Not
No, that
once.
is awesome. So we will be sure to update the description with that, so you guys can check it out yourselves. I always love giving a shout out as well, and yeah, I'm gonna check it out too. So shout out to the blog. You said you've been doing that for 8 years.
Yeah, yeah,
You're like, man, 8 years.
yeah,
So will we
yeah.
update the description so you guys can check that out and subscribe yourselves? And John, last but not least, outside of creating comics, what have you been up to? I mean, have you watched any new shows, any new movies, read any new books? If you game, what games are you checking out?
You know what I did? I'm right at the end of it. I'm doing 1 month of Netflix
Mhm.
because it never goes on sale, right? On and it bothers me. It's the principle of the thing. Like I need a discount to buy your
Yeah.
product, but they don't have to offer it because they're the industry leader. So I finally like a good liberal, I canceled Disney Plus and Hulu a little while ago
Mhm.
over Jimmy Kimmel, right? So it's just like, okay, I'll finally do 1 month of Netflix, catch up on everything, $7.99, and then leave forever again. So yeah, I'm just tearing through all the Netflix content. I'm gonna go finish the first season of Peaky Blinders when we're done. It's
Mm.
good.
So Peaky Blinders, man. We're gonna see you with the side shaved and the hair swooped over with the hat, the golf hat, next time.
Oh man, like I don't. It's a good look. I might
It is
try
a
it.
good look. Every time I see it, I'm like, dude, I would not want to confront that person. Like,
No, 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 no. I don't think I can pull off that like icy stare. He's a
he does have a good stare.
he's got a great. I mean, he's a fucking star, man. Like
Yeah.
he's got that presence.
And that worst part of the Netflix is that 7.99. You're probably getting plagued with ads too. It's like $20 for no ads. It's like, dude, we broke away from cable to avoid the ads. What are you guys doing? You're pushing us. It's like a full cycle back into cable, right?
And well, it's worse than cable because like they just drop the ads like in random places.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh, that was like that was in the middle of a line of dialogue. I guess I'm gonna okay. I'll hold.
They're
Yeah.
learning from YouTube at this point. YouTube is the king of that. Listening to any sort of podcast breakdown. It's like right when a big point of topic is about to break, ad. Um, Man, Big Brother's
Here
always listening, right?
now by Blue Chew.
Yeah, dude, it's always. And then I'm looking at my fiance. I'm like, dude, I swear, I'm not looking this stuff up. Don't know why it keeps playing. Like, so John, thank you for swinging by. Everyone that is watching, right here is a link. We'll have the description updated so you can check out that blog and stay up to date with what John's doing outside of creating comics. Such an awesome talk. I always love getting new creators on. Gives me new meaning to interviewing, right? Like just getting new people on, getting fresh new content on, and just breaking it down. It's what keeps me going. So John, thank you so much for that opportunity. Everyone
Thank
watching it, I hope you all have a fantastic Tuesday. But most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.